Hello there, welcome back. Today's video is going to be a cook and clean with me. Tonight for dinner I'm going to be making the broccoli cheese soup from the Pioneer Woman. I'll have the recipe linked in the description box below. It sounded really good and my husband really likes broccoli cheese soup, so I figured I would try this recipe. I have made broccoli cheese soup before and we really liked it. I enjoy all the Pioneer Woman things like the cookware and things like that, so I figured I would try her recipe as well. So I'm super excited to try it, so let's go ahead and get to cooking. I'm gonna start off by chopping up my broccoli into florets. I do have two small children, so I decided to cut my broccoli into smaller pieces so it was easier for them to eat. I decided to start off by chopping everything up because I figured it would be easier for everything to be pre-chopped. That way I could just throw it all in the pot together. Next, I'm going to go ahead and cut up my onion. I am chopping up one large yellow onion into cubes. My broccoli and onion are all cut up. I'm going to go ahead and melt 1 stick of butter in my pot. Once the butter is all melted, I'm going to go ahead and add in my whole onion into my pot. I'm gonna let my onion and butter cook for 3 to 4 minutes, and then I'm gonna go ahead and add in my flour. As you add in the flour to the butter and the onions, it's gonna make sort of like a thicker consistency. That is okay because you're gonna go ahead and add in your milk and your half and half to your pot. Once those are in your pot, you're going to add in your salt, pepper, and nutmeg. You're going to see me add these 3 spices quite a few times throughout this recipe because I was trying it little by little to see how flavorful we liked it. Now it is time to add in my 4 heads of broccoli that I chopped up in the beginning of the video, and I'm going to get that all stirred in. The recipe said to cover the pot after you add in the broccoli and let it simmer for 20 minutes, but what I did was I turned up the heat on my stove and let it heat up, and then I covered it. set my timer on my stove for 20 minutes and it was perfect. Now that the 20 minutes is up, you can see the mixture starting to get a little bit thicker. So I got out my cheese. The recipe calls for 3 cups of cheese. But before I added the cheese, I made sure the broccoli was nice and tender. I put in the cheese whenever the broccoli was almost completely tender, so just a little bit of crunch to it, that way it didn't turn to mush, and honestly the texture was perfect. I did taste the piece of broccoli that I pulled out and stabbed with a fork, and it needed some more pepper and salt and nutmeg, so I'm going to go ahead and add more. Now it is time to add the cheese. I didn't really measure this. The recipe calls for 3 cups of cheese. This is a 4-cup bag, so I just sort of eyeballed it and put all but 1 cup in. And as I was stirring it, it started to turn into like a paste. So I got really nervous that I messed up the recipe, but the recipe says that you can use a little bit of chicken broth, and I had some on hand, so I just went ahead and added that in. To our liking. I think I added about 1 cup of chicken broth to it, but I just added it little by little and I stirred it to get it to the consistency that we like. I made it like a thick soup. When I make this again, I think I'm going to add just a little bit more chicken broth to it. That way whenever we have it for leftovers, it's not super thick the next day. I went ahead and got a clean spoon and I tasted it again, and it needed a lot more pepper. And what I did was I seasoned the pepper this time to where you could see the pepper in the soup, but it wasn't overbearing. So I definitely kept tasting it with clean spoons to make sure it was flavorful enough for our liking. So I pretty much just flavored it to taste. I do want to warn you though, nutmeg is a very powerful spice to me, so definitely go light on the nutmeg, that way you don't over season. You guys, this recipe was so good. My husband took it for leftovers the next day for lunch. He had seconds for dinner. I had seconds. My oldest scarfed down her plate as well, so I highly recommend this recipe. It is in the description box below. It's a Pioneer Woman broccoli cheese soup. We loved it, and I'll be definitely making this again. The dinner's all done. I'm going to go ahead and start doing the dishes. I had a huge pile of dishes to get done, so I'm going to go ahead and rinse them off. I've gotten some questions as to why I wash dishes before I put them in the dishwasher. I don't really wash them. I just rinse them off and put them aside and then put them in the dishwasher, because I notice if I don't rinse them off, they don't get completely clean. So I just rinse them off real fast, get all the food and the dried food off of them, and then I put them in the dishwasher.
So beautiful, and I'm so lucky to be yours. And you're taking me high. Ain't nobody like you. I'm not coming down. Ain't nobody like you. I could go 1,000 miles as long as I'm with you. Yeah, you're taking me high. Ain't nobody like you. Talking by yourself and you make me smile. I can listen Jump into the car on a Friday night, I wanna drive with you. Looking for a bar in the nearest town, I've never seen a sky so blue. And you're taking me high, ain't nobody like
That does it for this video. I want to say thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch. I highly recommend the broccoli cheese soup recipe from Pioneer Women. If you try the recipe, definitely let me know either on Instagram or in the comments below. My Instagram handle is always in the description box below, and I'll also put it on the screen here for you so you can give me a follow over there as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one.